Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for another episode of the Layman Video Gamer. I'm Scott Tommaso. I just received another package, another game, so let's go open it up. Big day, really big day. This is one of the moments I've been waiting for since I started collecting, especially for the system that I didn't have growing up, but I wanted really badly, and that was the Nintendo 64. Basically the last cartridge-based system for Nintendo, and really the last cartridge-based system before everybody started to turn, well, everybody else had turned to compact discs. So, I never had a Nintendo 64, but I do have one now, so today is a really big day because I got Star Fox 64. Now this is complete in box, and originally, well, it's close to complete in box, and I should say that precisely because this is supposed to come with a Rumble pack. So when you bought Star Fox 64 back in the day, at least for this particular one, you got a Rumble pack with it. I did not get a Rumble pack, but I already have one, so I didn't really care for it. This one I did spend a good amount of money. Again, I got it from eBay, and I spent roughly about $65 for this. So, oh, nice. So here we have some inserts, nicely sealed. Now, I never played this. I've never played this game. Mainly because I already told you I never had a Nintendo 64, and I don't even think I knew anybody that had a Nintendo 64. And I know that sounds crazy, but I didn't know anybody at the time that had it, so that's why I'm excited. So we've got Nintendo Power, another sign up if you want it, player's guide. We have the precautions pamphlet for Nintendo 64, fantastic shape. And here's the instruction booklet for Star Fox 64. And this is also in very, very good shape. And this is what was great about games back in the day, is that you had these full color instruction booklets. Nobody does that anymore because you just do it digitally now. But I get a kick out of just reading the pamphlets anymore. So whenever I get a complete in box product, game, I will just go through and read it just because it just gives me kicks, man. Here is the actual game itself. It's only slight wear and tear on this. It actually looks really, really good. There is a bit of, looks like a slight possible discoloration on the top, slightly. But that just means it's real. So anyway, I'm very excited to play this, so let's take a look. So right off the bat, you know this thing is going to be epic. I mean, Star Fox in Star Fox! Well, that's my best movie voice. Anyway, the Nintendo 64 came out in September of 1996. Star Fox 64 came out the next year, just a few months after the release of the system. And of course, if you're familiar with Star Fox, you know it was a huge hit on the Super Nintendo, so people were really looking forward to this one. Now, once you get past the minute and 40-odd seconds of intro, which, by the way, is impressive, considering this is, again, a cartridge-based game, it does show off what the system can do. Now, I do have the 4 megabyte Nintendo expansion pack, which means the graphics are supposed to be cleaner, and I do have to say it does do the trick. Now, when you finally get to the main screen, there are a few options. You can play multiplayer on this, up to 4 players. There is a versus mode, there's a training mode, and it shows your ranking, and you can change some of the sound settings and the data, but we're just going to kick into the main game. And yet kicks off another long story Now, I think we're just going to scroll through this really fast. You know, in fact, let's do that right now. Because what you really need to know is that you're playing as Fox McCloud, basically a red fox, who's the leader of the Star Fox team. He defends the Lilat system. His father, James, you may remember, was in the original Star Fox team. But for this game, he's actually presumed dead at the start of the game. So this Star Fox team is a group of mercenaries who has some original members. Peppy Hare, which is a rabbit, was in the original team. We also have Slippy Toad. He's the mechanic of the team. And Falco Lombardi, a Vietnamese pheasant. It's not even right. And of course, you have General Pepper, a dog, you know, because you can't have a team without a dog leading it. Bottom line is there's 4 of you going on these missions. You can lose your people, and they will not be of any help in the next mission. So it's really important to keep these guys alive. Now, what I did find fascinating was that there really was a Star Fox 2 that was supposed to be released on the Super Nintendo, but it never actually made it. So this is why this one was highly anticipated.
Get back here! Watch out. Don't be on your tail.
Now, what I do like about this game is that there is constant contact with your team members. They're constantly giving you tips, telling you what to do, asking for help. It really feels like you're a part of the game, and it's just there's always something going on. And I can't really stress this enough, but the sound quality on this was really good, and there's so much of it in this game that you kind of are bewildered at how they were able to fit everything into this one cartridge. It's quite amazing. Now, I, for one, am not a big fan of the Nintendo 64 controller. It's been more of a hindrance than a help. But I will say it is fantastic for Star Fox. I don't know what they did, why it's better, but it feels very, very comfortable with this game. So controlling it is really easy, and I actually quite like the way that the control works with the stick. Now you can see that when you're going through these, you want to collect all these rings. Now those will help you gain your power back. You'll see your meter on the top left.
I'll take this. Get the one behind.
There are buttons for turbo, there's buttons for slowing down, you can collect bombs. So there really is a lot going on this, and you can change the perspective, as you can see here. As you can see, you do lose part of your ship, and it does make it difficult to move around. So again, they've done a really good job. Now, when this game was released, it did get a lot of acclaim. Most of the scores that you'd see, if it's 1 out of 10, usually up around 8.5 or higher. If it's out of 40 or 50 or whatever the scale, it's usually very, very, very high. IGN gave it, for example, 8.7 out of 10. GamePro actually gave it 5 out of 5. And Nintendo Power, the official, gave it a 4.325 out of 5. So, you know, this really was a good game. It was also one of the top-selling games of all time for the Nintendo 64, second only to Mario Kart 64, which is hardly a surprise. And it was a much bigger hit in the US than it was in Japan. But overall, it is considered one of the top 100 games Nintendo has ever produced, and that comes straight from Nintendo itself. I believe this one came in, I want to say 73 out of 100, so not too bad. And this did come out on the Nintendo 3DS as well. So my thoughts on this for playing this for the very first time, once you got used to the controls, once you figured out the buttons, this actually became, I don't want to say an easy game, but it's pretty easy. I've played it on the regular mode. I haven't played it on anything harder than that. And there is a Landmaster tank that was put into this game, which is new for a Star Fox game. You literally are a tank rolling across the terrain. And it has this roll function. You can roll right, you can roll left, you can actually fly in this a little bit. Quite ingenious. So overall, Star Fox 64 is a fantastic game. It is really, really above and beyond what I thought it would be. Although I knew it would be very good. But it's amazing to see all the graphics that they can fit into a cartridge. They're really fantastic. If you can get over the Nintendo 64 controller, which surprisingly it's becoming a little bit more familiar with me, and it actually, on this time around anyways, the controls were great. I have no complaints. Usually I do, but for the controls on Star Fox 64, really, really good, really smooth. The gameplay is great. I'm very happy that I spent the money that I did on this, and I'm happy that it's in my collection. I think you should go out and buy it too, if you can find it, but highly recommended, and hope you get it so you can play the rest of the levels. I'm actually gonna get back to it right now. We'll see you next time.